Hey, hello. Another day of this live stream. Okay, so it's Friday, so that's exciting. Um, every this week has been a great week, and I'm excited it's Friday because like I look forward to the weekends a lot. I'm sure a lot of people look forward to the weekend too. Just to like kind of sit back, relax, and kind of continue working on whatever your hobbies are and whatever your idea is, whatever you want to kind of be launching. So yeah, that's that's why I'm excited about Friday. It means that during this weekend, what I get to do is I get to, continue working on my MBA. I don't know if I've told you before, but I've enrolled myself in an online MBA program because I love learning. I love continuing my education. I love continuing to just learn different topics and concepts from different perspectives. And so, yeah, I'm excited to continue working on that this weekend and also just sit back and just kind of read, right? That's what I just love doing the most, just sitting back, and just reading books that I really like and really enjoy. There's one right here behind me called Good to Great. There's like a bookshelf of like business books. There's like Launch, there's Traffic Secrets, there's what do you call it? Brand building books. So there's all these different things that I just love doing on the weekend and love doing and just kind of building myself up. And so I hope that during this weekend you all get to do things you love to do too. Um, so, which kind of leads me to something that I've been meaning to talk about for a long time now. And that's just the idea of getting started and keeping momentum. The idea of getting started and keeping momentum. It sounds simple. It sounds like, okay, yeah, getting started. It's easy, right? You just press go, or you just kind of go and you just like, you press go, you just go, and you just keep rolling. Yeah, it's easy to talk about, getting started and continue on a project and just keep going with the project, right? It's easy to talk about. But I think one of the biggest kind of fallacies in this whole entire launch, entrepreneurial life, creator life, and just life of someone building something completely new out of the blue, out of the ordinary. The big fallacy here is that you think that everyone is ahead of you, right? You think that everyone is ahead of you, and you think that everyone is where you should be, right? Everyone is. You look up, you look on the internet, you look up, you read all these books, you read all these articles, you hear all these podcasts, you listen to all these YouTube videos, and you're like, wow, these people are light years ahead of me. These people are so far ahead of me that I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Like, people see that and then they get scared. They get scared and they freeze. Right? They get scared and they freeze and they don't know what to do. Sorry, let me have a little sip of tea here. Today's tea is green tea, and I have been drinking less coffee actually, and kind of switching to tea because I just kind of wanted to. I've been drinking coffee for a while now, and I was like, I think it's time for some tea. So I kind of just switched it up to tea. So now it's green tea because I ran out of peppermint, and peppermint is my absolute favorite tea of all time. I can drink it whenever, morning, lunch, noon, night, whenever. Anyway, going back to the topic here is getting started and keeping momentum, right? That is kind of the hardest thing as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur myself, I can tell you that I have trouble with that too. I'm going to be completely honest. There's no way that I'm always on, right? There's no way that I'm always able to start something and keep that momentum and keep going and continue just running forward and paving forward. That if you think that, then I'm going to like tell you the truth. Like, no, I don't. I have really hard days too, where I struggle. I struggle with getting started. I struggle with moving forward with an idea. I struggle with making sure that what I want to do is actually being done, right? Because sometimes I get scared. I get really scared. I see all these other people too. Just like, I see all these other people. I look on social media, I see all these other people who are so successful in what they do and how they're helping others launch projects. And I see other people, how they're able to just like really talk to their audience. I see other people do all these things, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that. Right. And then I get scared and I get into this cycle where I'm scared and I stop creating and I stop writing blog posts. I stop recording videos. I stop recording podcasts. And then I kind of get into this like slumpy cycle. I guess you call it a rut, right? A little rut where I just don't keep moving forward. And, recently I've been talking to a lot of different entrepreneurs, and that's one of the things that I'm hearing come up really often, right? The fact that, they get scared, they're actually labeling imposter syndrome. They're like, okay, if I do this, like, what if I fail? Like, or look at other people, look at other people doing this. What if I can't do that? What if I can't make it? What if I can't raise that $10,000, that $50,000? What if I can't do it? There's a lot of people who talk to me and, kind of bare their soul in that way to me. And I'm going to be honest, like, I get it. There are those days for me too, right? And let me I guess, just tell you some stories, because I think stories are powerful. Stories are able to, humans have been telling stories for years now, and humanity and our histories and our connections and relationships have all been through stories. So, let me tell you a story, right? So when I first got started with Crush crowdfunding, right? This was about, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago, maybe. When I first got started, I was very gung ho, right? I was like, oh wow, it all clicked. Someone wanted. I was doing some other stuff like building Shopify stores and then like selling like dog beds online, right? That's literally what I was doing. And so someone reached out to me and they were like, Nalin, like, I see you have this experience with crowdfunding. I see you have this background in crowdfunding. Like, would it be okay if we chatted just a little bit about crowdfunding? I'd love to know what you're doing. I love to understand like how to actually crowdfund. Like, would you mind like just kind of giving me some pointers, give me some 2 cents? And I was like, okay, well, sure, why not, right? I'm just kind of building these Shopify stores anyway, and I have some time, right? And so we got on a call, and it was supposed to be 30 minutes, and it ended up being like 2 hours or 2.5 hours or something like that, just because I was so like into talking about crowdfunding. I was like, this is amazing. I love talking about crowdfunding and just helping someone like figure out the nitty gritty details of crowdfunding and the launch. And so from there, I thought to myself, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this crowdfunding thing. Let's like help people like figure out crowdfunding, right? So as you probably know, because you're listening and you're an entrepreneur yourself, right? As you probably know, I had all these grand ideas, right? Grand ideas. I'm gonna have these YouTube videos. I'm gonna be all over Instagram. I'm gonna be all over Twitter and Facebook and podcasts. I'm gonna be everywhere. And I'm gonna be blogging every week. So like all this was just like pouring out of me because I'm seeing all these people do all these things. I'm like, yes, this is it. I'm gonna do all of this. Right. And then I'm gonna be honest, like it took a while. It took a while to get all of this up, and I was hiding. I was hiding a lot of the time, right? I was hiding because I was scared. I was scared what people were going to think about me. I was scared about what people would say about the stuff I'm talking about. I was scared about how people would react to me, the entrepreneur me, like the actual me, like me in this t-shirt and this like sweater. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm in sweatpants right now, like, and that's me. And I was really scared how people would react to that, because when you start kind of talking and being public, you're gonna get haters, right? And so I was really scared about that. I've seen how rough it is for some people and how bad the comments and the trolls are, and so I was scared, right? And so, you know what I did? What I did was I didn't put my face anywhere. Okay, so I talked about Crush crowdfunding. I started blogging behind this like facade of a brand, right? I started um, just writing behind this brand and just never really showing my face anywhere, never talking to people really directly. It was just kind of like through emails, and I never really went on um, went on things like YouTube. Right? I was never on YouTube for videos. I was never doing a podcast, but I wanted to. But I was so scared of what people think about my voice, right? My voice and my face and how I look, because this is what I look like every day. I wake up, I throw on a t-shirt and my favorite hoodie. Sometimes, I have multiple hoodies, like a red one from my Stanford years, uh, an orange one for my UVA years, and I just kind of like do life that way, right? And I was really scared, and so it took me a very long time before I started the YouTube channel. It took me a very long time before I started the podcast. I started the Crush crowdfunding brand about 3 or 4 years ago, right? I only started the podcast this year. This year, and again, 3 to 4 years. It took me 3 to 4 years to really get myself together enough and get over the fears enough to actually do it. So there it is. That's one of my secrets. It took me that long, and I look back and I'm like, why was that? And it was because I was scared. I was scared to actually get started. I was scared to see what it all means. I was scared to start doing it, because like, what if people don't like me? What if people don't like what I'm doing? What if people don't like what I'm saying? What if people don't like me, right? And so when entrepreneurs come to me and say that, say that they can't get started because they're scared. I get it. Like this like YouTube channel. I started a YouTube channel I think in like last year, maybe a year and a half ago, but I just started doing daily live streams right now, and it's been a year and a half, right, since I started the YouTube channel. And yeah, like that's it's it. It's one of those things where you get scared, and you get scared to start because you're just scared of what other people are going to think about you. And you know, the point where I got over it was basically I was just kind of thinking, I was walking the dog. I thought to myself, like, what's there to lose? Right? What is there to lose? Like, sure, there's probably going to be people who hate me online. Yeah, I'm sure there's people who hate me already, right? Um, there's going to be people who hate me online, but there's so much more for people to gain, right? People who don't know how to launch on crowdfunding, people who really kind of need crowdfunding to get their idea to come to life, people who really need to hear that voice to help them grow and to help them move forward in their creation process and their idea. And so I was like, I'm just, why am I doing this? Why am I just hiding? Why am I just hiding behind these blogs? Why am I not kind of showing myself and just telling people about all these struggles? Because the more I talk to entrepreneurs, the more I hear about these same struggles. So yeah, that's kind of the story about the podcast and the YouTube channel, right? Like, it took a while to start, but once I started, man, it's been a ride. Like, it's been a ride. Some days it's hard to kind of get up and do a live video, and some days it's hard to get up and record a podcast. But it's actually really fun. Once you're in the zone and once you start doing it, and once you find that all your fears are kind of all in your head, it really is okay. So if you're kind of sitting out there and if you're listening to this and you're wondering like, what do I do now? Right? Like I want to start, I'm scared to start. Like this is kind of your signal. This is your what do you call it? Your calling. This is your green light from somewhere else in the world, right? This is your green light to say, you got this. You can start whatever it is you need to do. Just start small, right? Start small. Start doing the small things. So with this, with like a podcast, for example, right? With the podcast, what I started with was I just started looking at how to podcast, right? Like what tech do I have to use to podcast? What kind of microphone I needed? What kind of editing I would have to do? Like I need to have an intro, like an outro. So I started small and started like working on those things that would be tangible and have like really real results, right? And so, I encourage you if you're kind of stuck, you don't know, you're scared, just do it, right? Just do it because all the fears that you have are really in your head, and all the fears you have, you'll it you won't be affected by it once you keep moving forward. And you will get haters, but that's not going to do anything to you, right? People are going to say, oh, this product isn't for me, or this product isn't great, but that's okay because you can improve the product, make it better, and you can also find other people who absolutely love your idea. And honestly, the more no's you get, and the more people you find that people don't like your product, kind of the better it is because now you know who's going to like it, who's going to lean, who you'll be able to lean into. Okay, so that's what I wanted to come really say today. And let me give you another example. The 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 resources, right? There's actually, if you go to crushcrowdfunding.com/resources, you'll see there's actually a resource shop right there now where I put out all these resources that you can get that I've used in my own work to get people to raise, these hundreds of thousands of dollars, these millions of dollars, these big campaigns. I've actually used these resources, and I've been thinking about having a resource shop for a very long time. I actually have these notes, right, um, on my table from where I was like doodling and like thinking about ideas and like what to do. And this like resource shop idea was, I think, earlier this year. So this is the end of the year. It's about Q4 now where I'm recording this. And in the beginning of the year, I think in February of this year, was when I started having this idea of this like resource shop. But I was scared. I was like, what? But what if no one likes this? What if no one finds like this useful? What if no one likes what I'm sending out? What if no one likes any of this, right? And so I held back. I held back. I held back and I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna put any of this up live because what if people don't like it? What if people um, tell me that this is all like useless? And then, one day someone was talking to me and asking me about this. Someone was like, why don't you have a shop, like a little like downloadable resources that people could use? Because like I would really love to use that right now because you have all these like examples that you've been through. You have all these like little templates that you have all these little things. And I haven't, like I don't know how to do it. And with that one conversation, I was like, well, I'm just limiting myself, right? I'm just kind of stopping myself in my own tracks because I was scared of, what people would think. But pretty much I was always looking at the downside, right? I was always looking at the downside. What is like the downside of it is that people would hate me. The downside of it is that no one would like the resources. The downside of it is that no one would like anything that I'm putting out there, right? That's the downside I was thinking about. But I never thought about the upside, how like much these resources were needed and how people really would actually want these resources and how people would kind of make use of this and how this would actually help people in their launch process. And so I put it up. And the funny thing is that right after I put those resources up, I had like 3 different downloads right away, right? And it just hit me. It hit me, and I was like, "Yeah, why haven't I done this earlier? Why haven't I taken a look at this and been like, okay, people need this, and I should do it." So what I'm saying is that it's hard to get started. And sometimes, it's hard to keep going forward. And sometimes you just don't know when to start and when to stop and when to start, when to go, when to keep moving forward. And sometimes you need a sign, right? And so this is the sign saying, hey, you got this. There's no need to be scared. You got this. You can keep going. You can move forward. Um, so yeah, a lot of the time I struggle with the same things that you do. I struggle with those same things. I struggle with the fact that I am scared to get started on a project. So if you're trying to figure out which manufacturer to go with, if you're trying to figure out like how shipping works, or if you're trying to figure out which platform is the best for you, right? If you're struggling with just getting started in that, just this is your sign to get going, right? There's a lot of resources that I offer on the Crush Crowdfunding website, on the podcast, in the YouTube channel that can really, and even on Instagram, actually, I'm dropping, I'm doing this thing where I'm dropping different resources pretty much every single day on Instagram right now. It's at Crush Crowdfunding. And if you don't know where to get started, and if you don't know what to do, just be sure to just check out everything that I have, because I've created all this for you, and I really want you to know that there's someone there, someone out there, who has your back, who wants you to succeed, and who is really in your corner and rooting for you. Because, as a solo entrepreneur, me, myself, and I, right, as someone who works by herself, it's hard sometimes to keep going or to start too, just because I don't know if there's other people out there in my corner, right? I don't know if there's anyone out there kind of watching out for me, or there's not a lot of people keeping me accountable, right? And so I have to be accountable to myself. And sometimes that doesn't work. Actually, a lot of research says that doesn't work as well. So, I wanted to tell you that, I'll be here for you. And I'm going to be your resource, your like coach, your mentor, whatever you want, me to be, I can be there for you. And I'm going to, show up and do all these things so that you have you have the tools, you have the resources, you have the motivation, you have the push to do all this, because all these incredible ideas are coming out of crowdfunding. All these incredible ideas are coming out from Kickstarter, from Indiegogo. All these amazing ideas of like all these ways of looking at the world in a different way is coming out from crowdfunding. Yesterday, I just interviewed someone I worked with, actually, for the podcast. I interviewed someone I worked with, and we were talking about the reason why he created the product. So this was an interview with Jorge from Graphene X. And so I worked with that campaign and helped it come to life. And we raised like $460,000 or something like that on crowdfunding. And I was interviewing him, and we talked about kind of why he made the product, right? Why he actually made the Graphene X brand, and started using graphene in different clothing and different apparel, pretty much. And he was like, it just came from a point of need. He moved to Hong Kong from Chile, and he couldn't find something that was robust, in terms of apparel, robust, and also you could wear day and night to the bar, to work, on a hike, because like the weather in Hong Kong changes all the time, right? And so he was like, why is there nothing that you can do all these things? Like the Patagonias, the Columbias, the Arc'teryx, none of that is exactly that. None of that you can wear to all these different types of events and functions and times of days, and none of that is as robust as what graphene would do. So he was like, why is this not in the market yet? And so he set out to make just that. And now it's a thriving brand. And now they're launching another product. And now they have like multiple products in their product line. And they're launching more on Kickstarter too. And so basically, like all the products that are in your head right now, all the ideas that are in your head, I can't wait for them to come to life because they're those ideas are based upon issues and problems that you're facing. And a lot of people, I'm sure, are facing those same issues and problems too. What and what that means to me is that, these ideas are going to change the world. And so that's why I'm so invested in working with people and bringing new ideas to life because it's going to change the world. And so if you're scared to get started and if you're feeling like you're not enough, I get it. I've been there. I've been there. I still am at multiple times of the day and multiple times of the week and multiple times of the month. I get it. I've been there. But just know that I got your back and I'll be here for you through, podcasting, YouTube, the blog, the group, the Facebook group, the Instagram, like everywhere. I'll be there for you. Just know that you can get started and you can move forward because I know you can do it. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. It's not like tactical for crowdfunding, but it's really important because a lot of people kind of don't get started because of these reasons, because they're scared, because they feel like they're not enough, because they don't think they can do it. So like, if this is you, like, I know you can do it, right? I know you can do it. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being with me today. If you liked what you're listening today, please subscribe, comment, and like. I'd love for this to be seen by more people. And be sure to, again, hit the subscribe button so that when the next one comes out. And I will see you next time.